Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the Union Pacific Railroad Geneva Subdivision in N-Scale. My name is Daryl Cruz, owner and builder of the layout, and your host for episode 18 of season 2020. This is another operations video, this time focused on Global 3 operations with the two switcher units that operate at the yard. This operations video will concentrate on operations that take place in between trains stopping at Global 3. Throughout an operating sessions, there's 3 or 4 trains that stop at Global 3, and they are dropping off and picking up cars and also swapping out locomotives in their stops. And what you're going to be seeing here in this video is what takes place in between the trains stopping at Global 3. There are basically two main things that happen at Global 3 in between train stops. One is moving cars to and from the load-unload area of the yard. So those switchers are coupling onto well cars that have been loaded with new containers, and it's going to be moving the wells with the containers into the storage track so that they can be added on to trains that will be stopping somewhere down the line. So right now it is picking up 2 sets of well cars. All right, the first set is a Mark IV by Deluxe Innovations with 53-foot containers. That's lettered for the AOK. And then there's a second set. There's actually 3 sets here. There's a second set that's also lettered for the AOK, another Deluxe Innovations Mark IV. And then the last set is a DTTX car by Cotto. And that also has 53-foot containers. If you look in the distance there, you can see there's one more set that needs to be picked up. I believe it's another Mark IV with 53-foot containers. We'll see as it gets here. Now the paved area around the load and unload section of the yard where you see the cranes, that is a different color because that area is concrete. You can see this if you look at the satellite photos of Global 3. And I'm assuming that they made that area concrete because of the increased activity taking place there, possibly also because of the additional weight that's being placed on there with cranes operating there. The rest of the paved area is asphalt. So the switcher units have picked up 4 sets of 3 well cars. This last set of 3 is another Cotto Mark IV 53-foot containers. All those containers you're looking at right now are pretty common for operating around Rochelle, so a lot of UMAX and EMP containers in Rochelle. I must admit, though, that the Canadian Tire container is not prototypical for Global 3. In fact, I don't think it was anywhere outside of Canada. But I somehow got a hold of those, and I like the way they look, and so I haven't quite taken them off the layout completely. I might put them up on eBay at some point in time. So all these well cars, 4 sets of 3, are going to be shoved into a classification track in the yard. The Global 3 yard, it has 4 tracks. The first track is mainly a arrival departure track. And then you have 3 additional tracks that are used for classification and storage. I recently did some weathering on Global 3. You can see the cracks in the road, and also use some pan pastels to provide some dirt and grime to the road. Definitely looks a lot more realistic now than prior to being weathered. As a yard crew shoves all 4 cars into track 3. You see a manifest train rolling by. I do have 2 manifest trains running right now as we're working Global 3. So we've picked up all the cars from the load-unload area, and we're going to then pull out another string of cars and put them into the load and unload area. So we throw the turnouts, and we'll go ahead and latch onto the cars in track 4, I believe. The yard switchers are a couple of Fox Valley Jeep 60s. And they're lettered for Cotton Belt and Southern Pacific, but they are Union Pacific locomotives. They've been patched with the yellow and have Union Pacific emblems on the ends of the units, and then also have Union Pacific road numbers. In the 1990s, Union Pacific merged with the Southern Pacific, or they bought the Southern Pacific. And the Cotton Belt was part of the Southern Pacific, so those were both Southern Pacific locomotives that merged into the Union Pacific, and they eventually repainted them all in Union Pacific road colors. But while they were waiting for them to have time to go to the paint shop and be repainted, they would just do a quick patch of the locomotives to give them Union Pacific road numbers. Here we have the second manifest train coming. So the cars that we pulled from track 4, we're going to push them into the load and unload area of the yard, where the cranes will take the containers and place them onto trucks, and then they'll take containers from arriving trucks and place them back into the wells to be transported to somewhere else. So that's a set of 3 coddles again, and then the second set is a set of 5. Those are another deluxe innovations. Those are 48-foot wells. So you have 2 sets of 5 that are from Deluxe Innovations. They're lettered for Southern Pacific. And they hold up to 48-foot containers. Now I bought these 2 Fox Valley units painted just for the Southern Pacific and Cotton Belt. And then I did a little bit of research to actually find which Jeep 60s from the Southern Pacific were patched for the Union Pacific. And I did find a couple of locomotives, got some pictures. You can see some pictures, I think, on the screen here of the prototype. And so I got some decals from Micro Scale and applied the decals according to the pictures. So if you notice, one of them, the Cotton Belt one, has yellow striping. So I not only did the patch and the road numbers, but I also did the yellow stripe along the walkway. We'll see here as it comes back after dropping these off. Road number 1963, which is a Cotton Belt here, has the yellow along the sill of the walkway, and I used decals to put that on there. And whereas the second unit retained the white of the Southern Pacific. And again, you can see I used actual prototype photos for the difference between the two. So these are actual prototype for Jeep 60 units. Now the pictures that I found, they were operating in the Midwest, but I really doubt that they ever spent any time at Global 3. But they pretty much were the only thing that was available. And I kind of liked the Southern Pacific, and I think they look cool. So for right now, I'll keep them as one set of the yard units at Global 3. Looks like the first manifest train has made it all the way around. So the yard crew has completed the first part of its task, which is swapping cars between the classification tracks and the load and unload tracks. The second thing it does is it blocks cars for incoming trains. So as you look at the switch list for a couple of trains that are going to be coming through Global 3, there are 2 sets of 2 cars that need to be picked up by 2 different trains. And so those cars right now are not next to each other. So the first set are the first and third car. There's 4 sets, there are 4 cars here. A set of 5 and a set of 3. And then I think a couple more sets of 5. So the first and third are going to be going with one train, and then the second and fourth are going to be going with the other train. So to make things go smoother when the trains get here, we're going to block them so that the first and third car are together, which go with one train, and then the second and fourth car are together, which will go with the other train. And that way when the trains stop and we have some time to pick up and drop off cars, the cars will be together, and will save time and be a lot more efficient. So I'm taking the third car here, and we're just going to set it aside temporarily. Take that back. This is the second car. So we're setting the second car aside. The second car goes with the fourth car. So we're just going to set it here for the time being. Not even going to push it all the way into the track. So with the second car out of the way, we'll go back and couple to the other cars, and now the first and third car will be next to each other. And so we've already have blocked now two of the cars together for one of the trains. Nope, didn't quite couple. Give it a little help. Looks like we have our westbound manifest train coming through. That's a Scale Trains Tier 4 Gevo at the lead, and looks like a AC 4400 and a Kato Gevo also as part of the consist. And get some slack here so we can uncouple. And then we'll go back and get this car. This was the second car, which needed to be by the fourth car. So now as we couple to it, and then we'll go ahead and place that into track 2. And then these two cars, the former car 2 will be next to car 4, and so they'll also be blocked for a train. So not a very complicated move, but it is moves that can take place now, so that when the train or trains get here to have cars dropped off and picked up, the road crew can do it a lot more quickly and more efficiently. And so we'll go ahead and just push them all into this track. And we'll be all blocked and ready to go for the incoming trains. One thing these locomotives need yet is a lot of weathering. If you notice from the prototype photos that you saw a while back, they are pretty grimy and dirty. So some point down the road, I'll have to take care of that. So the yard crew has finished its work in getting ready for the upcoming trains and making sure the load and unload tracks have appropriate cars. So we'll go ahead. So the locomotives will go ahead and go into the hole and await for the incoming trains. I want to thank you for watching this video. Hope you always enjoy the greatest hobby in the world, model trains, especially in N-scale. Thank you so much for watching. Hope you have a great day. Take care.